Hi everyone, I'm going to show you how I make colored paper using bleeding tissue. So this is what the bleeding tissue looks like. It looks like regular tissue paper, but when it gets wet, the color just bleeds out. So you can use it to color other papers. And I got mine at an art supply store. So you could probably get it at an art supply store, maybe Joann's or Hobby Lobby, or one of those kind of craft stores might have it also. It would probably be not with the wrapping paper, but with the art supplies. Or you could probably order it online from someplace like Dick Blick or Cheap Joe's, one of those art supply places. So this is what the paper looked like that I colored. I did a little session of coloring paper a few weeks ago, and I really love the way it looks. Love the soft colors. This is actually done, this was deli paper, which I really like the thinness of it. I'm going to do some more on deli paper today. And then I also want to do some on just plain copy paper, but I don't use the really, really cheap copy paper because your paper is going to get really, really wet. So it will hold up better if it's a little bit sturdier paper. But yeah, this is how it looks. This was actually some parchment paper. Here it kind of picked up some color that was left on the place where I was drying it, which was fine. I kind of like that. So as you can see, I have a lot of orange and pink and yellow. So today I'm going to work on some more blues and greens and darker, well, not darker, but you know, those colors. Not so much of the pink and the orange and the yellow. I have a lot of that right now, but I want some more blues and greens and stuff like that. So I like to tear it into pieces. I think it's just easier to have some kind of organic shapes and just kind of, I'll show you how I lay them out, but, so there's that. So let's just start with a regular piece of copy paper. This is actually a little bit heavier than most copy paper. It wasn't the cheapest kind. It's actually some that my brother bought, and he didn't like to buy cheap stuff, so it's pretty good paper. So I'm going to start by spraying water on a protected surface. Let's see if I'm in frame here. Yeah, that's great. Okay, got my bearings. Okay, so I'm just going to get it nice and wet, and I mean wet, right? It's really just, it's not just a light mist. It's pretty saturated. Then you just lay on some pieces. So, and you know, you could just put them on however you like. I'm gonna do something with blues and greens, so I'll put that there. And then maybe just to make it kind of interesting, put a little orange right there. And in this corner, you know, some of the dark blue maybe. Okay, so you don't have to totally cover it. So now then I'm going to, and I'm already see the tissue, it's already doing its work, but I want to get all the color out of it, so I'm going to spray it with water. Get it really nice and wet. I'm starting to see the colors seeping out. That's great, and they'll just kind of mix and mingle together, which is cool. Now then, because all this color here is on the top and I don't really want to waste it, I'm going to lay another piece of paper on top of that and pick up some more color. Oh, look at it, it's really seeping out. That's good. So, there we go. And let's see, I think I even got it more wet. I kind of am forgetting how I did it last time. It might take me a minute to get back in the groove of it. But, so there's what you got. Here's the one I peeled off. Just very pretty, soft colors. And actually, I would prefer to have more color down here all the way to the edge. So I'm just going to put a little more water on it and lay it back down. See if I can get some more of that blue. Yeah, I did a little bit, so that took care of most of that white area. Okay, so not bad for the first one. I forgot to set out a drying table, so let me just get a piece of cardboard I can lay these on to dry. So now the tissue really is pretty much used up. So I'm just going to peel it off. And actually what I did was, you know what, I saved these little pieces because I thought, wow, that's kind of pretty, that colored tissue. So I'm just going to set those aside. And look at how that, interesting, this blue came out looking like that, almost the same as the other blue. Kind of interesting. I have to say my bleeding tissue is probably 7 or 8 years old. So I don't know if something's, you know, if it's not as powerful as it once was when it was new, but oh yeah, I really like that. So that's kind of what I wanted, some more blues. Like the little bit of yellow there. So I'm just going to set these aside to dry. And let's try the deli paper. I like this because it's kind of sheer. And let's put a little orange. Oh, first I got to get it wet. I'm forgetting my steps. Just remember, always add water. You can't add too much. So, lay some of that orange there. Maybe a little green down here in this corner. And see how this darker green looks. Here. And so even though I tore these, now I'm going to just kind of tear them again to make them fit here how I want them to fit. I'm going to put a little blue in this corner, and I'm overlapping. We'll see what happens with those overlapped pieces. Okay, now I'm going to get it nice and wet. Yeah, that's great. Okay, very wet, and seems like I recall when I did them last time, I even sprayed the top sheet just with a little water, kind of get it a little bit wet too. And then I'm going to lay that on top. Okay. So I'm just squeezing. I want to get the color into those white areas. So I'm kind of squeezing it, pressing on it, moving that color around. Okay, that looks good. And actually when I was making these, I thought maybe I would have to like just do one side and then do the other side, but I found that the color kind of soaks all the way through the paper, which is cool. So once you've colored it on one side, it has color on both sides. So there. Oh, that's pretty. Very nice. Yeah, I like how that came out. And seems like there's a lot of color here, so I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to lay another sheet on top of this. See if I can get some more. Put a little extra water in here. It's a very messy process, but you want to make sure you cover your work table with something. Okay. Yeah, I think I'm still picking up color, which is nice. And I like how they mix together. So this one will be a little lighter, but still, I like it. Okay, I think this is used up. So I'm just going to take it off, set it over here. I'm saving these pieces. I can always use them in collage. This tissue paper is a little sturdier than regular tissue paper. It doesn't quite fall apart as easily, which is nice. Okay, I think there's one more piece here. There, wow, lots of color there. That's going to be nice. Now I notice, I don't know if you've ever done watercolor, but with watercolors, when they're almost dry or still, I guess, still pretty wet. This is too wet right now. But when there's still some wetness to them, if you put some rock salt or kosher salt on there, you can get some interesting effects. Okay, so that cardboard's full. I actually just got a big shipment of paper in the mail, and it was in this huge cardboard thing. And so I've saved the cardboard because I just like to have these little portable work surfaces. And this one's covered with freezer paper, so I can glue on it, whatever, wipe it up. So I'm just going to leave that color there because I'm staying in this color family. So I'll just leave that there and add some water. And kind of stay in this color range. I like it. This is the colors I wanted to make more of anyway, some blues and greens. So I'll put some green there. And some of this blue, which I discovered it looks pretty much like the other blue, but that's okay. So if some of these pieces are too big, rather than go off the edge, I would rather overlap them just to get that mixing of colors. And let's see, some of this green, see if it looks any different than the other green. And maybe just a little black. Okay, all right. Get it good and wet. Oh well. Okay, so as you can see, I'm putting a lot of water on there. Okay, let's do some more deli paper. I really love to use deli paper in my journals. It's just has that transparency that I like, and it has a nice crinkle when it's been dyed. Okay, so I didn't add extra water to the paper, and there's enough in there to really get this paper some color. All right, let's see how that looks. So yeah, so I like the wrinkles in it. It's kind of interesting. And that green does look different than the other green. So that one's good. And maybe we'll put more water on here. Let's try one on copy paper. See what happens. So I just make sure I press it all the way around till I see that ink coming out. I'm just gonna get the back wet. I want it to soak all the way through this paper. Okay. So let's stick into it there. Here, didn't want to come off. Okay, so there was a lot of color left, and that came out really nice. Some of these colors are pretty intense. And if you could keep going and use this tissue again, and if you want to get lighter colors, you know, something more pastel, maybe I'll try that on the next one. See how light paper. I've done light ones, and I like them too. Just a little color. Here's the black. Let's see if it shows up much. Yeah, see, the black doesn't really do much. I noticed that last time. Okay, I think that's all the tissue. So I like the colors in this. I like the wrinkles. Adds a lot of texture. Okay, set this over here to dry. There. Okay, so we'll continue. Let's do another piece of copy paper. Okay. And so let's see. The yellow is very intense, so I'm just going to use some smaller pieces of it. And maybe mix it in with some blue, and they'll mix together and make a nice green, I hope. this blue, since it looks the same as the other one, I'm just going to put it there. And let's see. Maybe put some green. Okay. Okay, getting it nice and wet. Oh, that's pretty. Liked how the green and the yellow kind of mixed together. That's nice. Okay, there's more drying space. So get out another piece of cardboard. Okay, let's see if there's enough color left in here. Get some more, maybe a lighter piece of deli paper. We'll see how much of that I can pick up. Looks like there's plenty of color. Yeah, so it's just kind of pastel-y looking. It's pretty. Well, let's try another piece of copy paper and see if we can go kind of pastel on it. Okay. I'm going to put some on this side. I think that will encourage the color to kind of go all the way through. By the way, if you don't want to have colored fingers, you might want to wear gloves. That's very pretty. I like it. Okay, I think I've got about as much color out of here as I can, so I'm just going to stick these up. And I like how this paper is looking too. Very nice. Yeah, I like that. Okay. It's going to take a while to dry. I'm just going to leave them sitting out all day and let them air dry. Or if you're in a hurry, you could definitely use your heat gun. Okay, well, I think I'm going to just wipe this up a little bit. It's getting pretty wet here. There. All right, let's just do a couple more. Some of this green. I like the way that looked. Oh, forgot the water. So this is deli paper. Some of that. Maybe a little bit of the yellow, just a little. And, oh, let's just put a little purple in, see what happens. out. Now this light pink, I discovered doesn't really do much of anything, but I'm going to put some up here. Looks like it got a little bit of color on it from last time. I'll put some here. Maybe it will just kind of help all the colors blend together a little better. And how about a little bit more of this green, like here and here. Okay. All right. Okay, that's pretty wet. Okay, another piece of deli paper. And that green is really seeping out. And the purple, not doing much. And the pink, not doing much. So I don't know if my paper's kind of old and it just, lost its punch or what. But some of these colors don't do much anymore. If this is one of those items that I bought years ago, I don't know what I was thinking I would do with it. That's back when I was doing a lot of collage. And so it's been sitting around for a long time. So can't really see much of the purple and the pink. A little tiny blush of it, that's about it. But that's still good. And I need more cardboard. Let's see, shuffle these around a little bit. So since there wasn't a whole lot of color on there and that purple didn't do much, I'm just going to go ahead and take it up. Yeah, see, very little. But that green and yellow, those are really intense. But see, this tissue paper is kind of cool. I'm just going to kind of spread it out on a piece of cardboard and let it dry. And I'm not sure yet what I'll do with it, but it comes out with nice texture and colors just sort of mixing together, which is kind of cool. Okay, so that's nice. It has basically some white space, which is fine. I kind of like that. This paint is kind of drippy. Okay, put that over here. So I laid that piece on the cardboard and you see how I got that nice drippage going down. So I think that's going to, actually, I'm going to like that. Okay, I have a ton of this deli paper, so much. You can buy a package of it, on Amazon. It's basically for wrapping sandwiches. And you get like 1,000 sheets in the package. So I have so much of it. I use it for jelly prints and tea stain. I can tea stain it or dye it any color. It does takes dye really well. It's sturdy. So I like that. So I just try to find uses for it because I have so much. Okay, how about more of this and this lighter green. And then here's a little of that darker green too. Okay, this one should be pretty intense. I'm sure there's other things you can do with this deli paper, but this is kind of what I like. I just think it's fun. I love the colorings, and it's just, a fun project for when you really don't want to do a lot of other work. You just want to play. I think it would be fun to get it out when my granddaughter's here. I kind of think she would enjoy doing this. And it's good I'm saving some of the pinks and purples because that's probably what she would choose. Yeah, that's neat. I like that little bit of brown down there. It kind of looks orange. So it looks like there's quite a bit of color left. So let's see if I can get another print out of that. I like that little bit of brown in there. It kind of tones it all down just a little bit. So I definitely will go back and add some salt to some of these that are getting close to being dry. Yeah, that's nice. Nice pastel colors there. And the salt just kind of, if you've never used it before, the spots where you put salt will kind of like push the color away. So they will make more like little white spots, which is kind of cool. Like if you want an oceany effect, it can look like foam or snow. Okay, I think that's all of it. Yeah. So I like that. I'm going to let that brown kind of run down into the other colors and tone them down a little bit. Yeah. Okay, let's see. I'm running out of cardboard again. All right. So I'll just show you. I'll do a few of the salt, a few with salt on it, show you how that works. So let's see. So here's some that the first ones I did. They're almost like too dry to do it. But let's just take a look at them anyway. Yeah, that's too dry. So now see, this one's already almost dry. I like that. Isn't that pretty? And here's one of the sheets of copy paper. It's one of the first ones I did. Then let's go back to some of the more recent ones, like these. And I'll show you how I do the salt. And look at all this tissue paper, by the way, that I am saving. Okay. So yeah, these are about right for putting salt on. So I have some, I think this is kosher salt. It's got, you can use regular table salt, but because this one has larger grains, it does leave larger spots. So I'm not putting a lot, just a few grains in some of the wetter spots. And you really can't see the effects of it until it's been left to dry for a while. So the salt is there, but you know, it doesn't do its thing right away. So it takes time. And then after it's dry, just take your hand and just, you know, brush off the salt on there, and it should leave a nice, interesting little pattern. Okay, well, that's it for today. I just thought you might like to watch while I did some more of my coloring of my paper. Thanks for watching.